Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Stop judging, that you may not be judged. For as you judge, so will you be judged. And the measure with which you measure will be measured out to you. Why do you notice the splinter in your brother's eye, but do not perceive the wooden beam in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me remove that splinter from your eye,' while the wooden beam is in your eye? You hypocrite, remove the wooden beam from your eye first, then you will see clearly to remove the splinter in your brother's eye." The Gospel of the Lord. Jesus Christ. In Psalm 33, which we just read, "Blessed are the people the Lord has chosen to be his own." Do you realize that that is us? Blessed are the people the Lord has chosen to be his own. He loves us. He desires to be in union with us. And it's in such a case that God chose Abraham. "I will make your name great, so that you may be a blessing." And he was a blessing. He became the model of what it is to follow God's plan, even though it didn't look like the best plan, but in faith to follow God's plan. He gave that to us. And that gift of Abraham having that trust and that faith in God, it should be something we must be aware of and be able to form in our own spiritual life and our life itself. We are the children of Abraham, so we're akin to him. And because of that, we are blessed. The people of the Lord, that the Lord has chosen to be his own. That's us. So, in faith, Abraham trusted God. This is what we call the obedience of faith. The obedience of faith is about freely submitting to what God asks of us. And you notice, he asks, he doesn't demand. At least in this case. And so, to remove the wooden beam from your eye, to have a clarity of vision, so that we can look carefully and be the people of the Lord that God has formed us to be. This clear vision comes in very handy. It's not just about the beam in the other's eye, which we'll get to in a moment, but it is about being able to understand that God knows a lot more than we do. And to follow him is wise. To do what he asks is wise. And so that's why we have the commandments, the 10 Commandments, to guide us in understanding what he finds best for us that we can do. We find this in the scriptures. We find this in the teachings of the church. And another place where we can get the beam out of our eye and see clearly is in the sacrament of reconciliation. To be able to open the eyes and say, Lord, I went the wrong way. And in a case like that, God is always willing to help us turn around and get back on the way. And so when we remove the beam in our eye, we have a clarity of vision, a clarity of soul, a clarity of mind. And so we can look at a brother and a sister, our neighbor, no longer to look at them in judgment, because we can really look carefully about that beam in our own eye that we have had, or maybe still have, where we must be careful not to judge. We are no longer judges. What we are, however, should be, we are a light of obedience. A light of obedience to help our neighbor find their way to the way that Christ brings us to, so that we may be with him in heaven.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui